So in my first explanation video, I was trying to talk about using a curse swap. I didn't really understand that well how the weapon swap worked. Actually, it could have been avoided if I spent like 30 seconds looking up a video, but I've just done everything blind. I've been bumbling my way through the campaign and the maps. I haven't even found any of this stuff yet. It's been kind of a painful process trying to figure out how to make it work. I'm at level 89 with 300k gold. I've spent it all, multiple times at the end of the campaign trying to make things work. But now I actually have it successfully set up. So what I ended up doing was you get 24 points to allocate between weapon sets. I took out, everything that's not specifically allocated goes to your generic tree to be used all the time. I took out these freeze nodes here, and then I took all the energy gain increase out. So the reason I did that was when I'm trying to curse with my weapon swap, I'm not trying to do damage. So I don't need to gain all this energy. I don't need to do the extra damage as cold. What I did was then I went to weapon set 1 and I put them all specifically back in. So now anytime I'm on 1, they're back. When I swap over to 2, they're gone. So what I did for weapon swap 2 is I took all the curse effect nodes. Increased area of effect, can't regenerate, can't recharge energy shield, increased duration, things like that. I still have frostbite on the bar, hypothermia on the skill tree as a weapon set 1. You lose out on that effectiveness, but I can't put barrier invocation on a weapon set. It makes it weird. So what I want to do, just to make it a little smoother, is weapon swap 2. I'm getting that huge temporal chain zone now, and then with Whispers of Doom, I can right click back on the hypothermia and start casting barrier invocation. It does make it a little, if you're not on top of things, if you're in that weapon swap 2 and you're casting barriers, you're like not gonna gain any energy. You're gaining a lot less. So you don't really want to be casting that with your shield out. I've taken block off. I had it on my left click to use it easier, but I felt like I was just hitting it every 2 seconds. You don't want the wand swap ability on there either. You'll be like accidentally tapping it. What I could have done is my main wand is actually mana drain, so I could have just cast mana drain instead of frostbite to switch over, but I didn't really like that because frostbite, at the beginning of a map I'm using it to build up this barrier, and if it's on that second weapon swap, I've got 90 fire resist. I had to cast this 10 times to build up enough energy to use it. So that's kind of the final setup for using temporal chains. I don't know. I'm trying to, I think, set up these. I don't know if I can do this with weapon swap 1 or 2. Let's try it real quick. So if I put blink on weapon swap 1, I cast temporal chains on 2, and then it's just it doesn't really work. I just don't blink at all. So that's something to take into account. Maybe this could be used for some different aura setups. I had been messing around with the one, where is it? Good. So spirit. I had been messing around a lot with elemental conflux. When you're approaching a boss, these Grim Feast and Arctic Armor aren't really giving you anything. So if you could get elemental conflicts and you're doing 50% more while you're casting, when it rotates, I don't think it doesn't work the same way. I think I used to play with this in Diablo 3 a lot. There it would, I think rotate in succession between whatever elements you could cast. And this one, it's random. You could just get lightning for 2 minutes in a row, and that's not really gonna be good. It's probably not going to happen that way, and it is modified by skill effect duration. So if you have less, it's going to rotate faster. If you have more, it'll stay in an element longer. It's kind of fun to play with. It's just, I don't know if I can like fit it in. I don't think I can set it up to where, you know, these two are active while I'm using one thing and that one's active while I'm using the other. I think you could if I had like two really powerful focus setups. I could probably do it that way. You know, instead of this shield defensive curse, maybe I have like a bossing setup instead where I'm just using two focuses with wands that are similar, and I swap to that, and now all of a sudden Elemental Conflux is active. You know, Grim Feast and Arctic Armor aren't, and I'm getting that rotation of more damage in there instead. That's kind of a cool idea. Get this off the bar to play around with. So for the wands I'm using and how they go with the damage, we can see the Comet tooltip damage with the wand I've been using this whole time is 18,000. That's without the last gem, which will either just affect the area size, or, you know, if I'm taking concentrated effect, it's going to increase it up to 25. On this one's a +4. I'm at 325 mana cost, level 24. That's pretty good. I like to sit around there. If I get up to 25, I think it's probably still okay, but any higher it gets awkward, and these wand prices just go way up. So I bought this one, exalted the mana on it. Everything else I think was as is. We can talk about like a little different ones. So I just bought this wand for about 5 exalts. A lot of it's, you know, everything's like T1 and T3, T4. It's not that great, and it's a +3. So put that in here. See, the damage is actually still about the same, even with these low rolls. The ignite chance is up to 40%. It's cheap because the cold spell skills was only +3, but I do lose that level, so I don't want to be this low. But if I put, for example, cold skills, now we're looking at 20,000, back up to the original mana cost, and that I can just, you know, if I ever get a +20 gem, +20 comet, you know, it's going to be the same as this other wand. So that's how I'm kind of balancing the skill levels out. This is just like a really cheap wand. You're getting all of that, you know, increasing the damage. You can go way higher on everything. You see there's way more room for upgrades. And then this, let's see, freeze build up. This was I actually had this in my weapon swap. I was like, I'll just throw this in there. This was another like pretty cheap wand, I think. And it said we're gaining 15% of extra as lightning, whereas before it was cold. So we have cold, fire, and lightning on these to see how that plays out. Now, we'll see the damage is actually the lowest per use. That lightning damage isn't really scaling with anything, I believe, on my tree. But I think the magnitude might be too low. I think it could shock with a crit. Let's see if it shows ignite duration, chill. I'm not sure. Maybe not. I could be wrong there. Just going to stick with this normal wand I had for now because I don't have a level 20 comet, and I don't really want to mess with this anymore right now. I don't want to use Cold Mastery either, just to bump this one up. The utility of the other ones is way better. So on Weapon Swap 2, this is like pretty much a nothing wand. It's +3 spell skills, temporal chains, scales with just spell level, so it's higher. Cast speed, because you know these curses still have cast times compared to Barrier Invocation, which doesn't. And I want to get it out a little faster. And then mana, so I'm not like when I swap over, if I don't have any mana, I'm at like 800 flame. I could be casting this and just going over. And then when you're going over on this second setup, it doesn't hurt as bad because I'm at 90% fire resistance, but you're not really gaining any energy that way. So that's just kind of how the damage plays out. You know, the damage is okay. I doubt it's as high as some of these any of these other crazy like Spark or something. We're looking at damage per use instead of per second. So we got that hyphen there. You're limited by how much you're casting. I played this a lot, so I'm pretty comfortable just like maybe throwing out 2 or 3. And then if I know I'm not going to be hit, if you're getting hit in between that, you're gonna die. When I first started playing in maps, I wasn't paying attention. I didn't realize I was even igniting myself. I'd like freeze a boss, get all excited, and like fire off 5 more, and just instantly, kill myself that way. That was a lot of my deaths. Just you'll see your character has killed themselves on the tooltip. So that was fun. It's still a work in progress. I don't understand a lot of things clearly about how this stuff really works. So if you're looking for a more less explorer version of how to play the game, maybe check something else out. But if you're stuck through with it at this point, this is where we're at. Change up the skill trees just to make it more efficient, getting a huge zone. Pretty good. So yeah, that's it. Good luck.